So the following video is about the RNG sliders that I put on Ducati Street Fighter. I did it myself, and it's not a step-by-step video because there is a better step-by-step video available that I'll put it in the description. It's from NW Track Addicts, NW Track Addicts. It's a good video. I followed it step by step. There were certain things that were a little confusing, so I explained them in my video. And either you can watch that video first and watch my video afterwards, or you can watch mine first and then watch theirs, because you will need that video to put the RNG sliders in there. It's complicated to a point. After that it becomes easy. It's complicated to the point where you have to take some fairings off and take the right screw off, the directions, look at the nuts, which nuts are which is what. So I mean, I explained all that in the video. It looks overwhelming to look at it first, but once you slowly, step by step, if you keep doing it, just one step at a time, one nut at a time, one spacer at a time. Take your time identifying what bolt is there, what spacer is there, what needs to be taken off, how it needs to be taken off. Once you understand all that, slowly, I went slow because I'm not a really technical guy. So I found it when I was watching the first video, when I watched that NW Track Addict video. It's like, whoa, that's a lot of work. But then slowly, I watched it 10 times before even buying the RNG sliders. So I watched the video 10 times. I'm like, okay, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can do this part. Maybe I can do this part. Maybe I can do this part. Slowly, took me a week. Just a couple of hours every day, not couple of hours, but at least an hour spent just to look at the parts, just to identify which one is right. Is this right? Is this right? Is this right? This is what needs to be done. So I went very slow. I did it. It is doable. Once you do one side, which is the more complicated side, where the other side is pretty easy also. That also has a little bit of complication. We have to take the shock off. And one thing I would really recommend before you want to do this is get yourself a lift that is, I'm going to put it in the description also. It's a lift that it's not a hydraulic lift. It is the one that you use. It's available on Amazon, about $150. Where you use the lug nut or the nut to actually go up and down. Because it's very progressive, it goes up very slowly, comes down very slowly. You will need that to adjust the shock when you take the shock out. You will see in the instruction videos and all that stuff. But you have to make sure that you have that, and you have something to hold on to the back wheel. So it needs a little bit of equipment. If you are a little bit handy and you can do a little bit of things with your bike, you can do it. It's not hard. I'm not a very handy man. I do certain things when I want to do it. Otherwise, I'll just give it to the dealership to do it. But this, I felt like, okay, you know what? Let me just do it. Slowly. It's doable. So just take your time, watch both the videos, and do it. So this is my next project. RNG Racing crash protectors for the Ducati Street Fighter V2, and most of the job is pretty okay. It's not very complicated, but has a lot of tedious steps. These are the sliders, these are the frames that the sliders have to go on. These seem like some extenders. These are another part of the frame. So that's what comes in an RNG box, crash detectors. There's a paper that you can scan, and it basically is the directions for the thing. Directions are pretty extensive. I wouldn't say the directions are bad. The directions are pretty extensive. It's just a tedious process. It has the sliders, of course. 1, 2, and 3 basically framers, and then nuts and bolts, some spacers, and this long extender that goes through the whole frame, and then another framer. So that's it. To put that on, you will need to take this portion out, this whole thing. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws where the tapes are. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it should be right here somewhere. 6 right here somewhere. Can't tell. It should be right here somewhere. So these screws come out. Then you're supposedly supposed to take this frame out, which comes out by these screws, these nut, and then you have to probably loosen this, pull this thing whole out. These nuts go out. There's a nut right here that goes out. There's a nut behind this that goes out, and where that frame fits in, and that's basically the major part of it. Once that goes in, everything else is pretty easy afterwards. Not pretty easy, but easy enough. So that's the start of it. If you guys don't need to see the rest of the video, be cool. I'm cool with that. Just don't forget to, there's a radiator cover on there too that needs to be taken out. There's a screw right here that goes right here, and that's when you will be able to access these 2 screws. Okay, I'm gonna do the whole thing, but this is at least the start of it. So more nuts. There is one right here, right, that one, and then there's one, this one, right here. Okay. So basically I've taken out 1, 2 hex nuts, 2 nuts. Like these nuts are 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 actually, and then there are 2 of them like these, which is 1 and 2. Those are the nuts, and these are the big bolts. So far I have done these. So basically, if you look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 so far. Yep. Okay. So when you take this one out, which is right here, it's actually not a bolt like them. It's like a nut. It's a nut that comes out. So be careful you don't drop it. Okay. So the next step is to take these 2 nuts out. That's 4 mm, and these 2 bolts, these 2 bolts are hex bolts. This is a simple bolt. It's 8 mm. You gotta take both of them out. Come on, is it not 8? Maybe it's not 8. Maybe it's 10. Let's see. That's 9. I think it's 8 or 9. I gotta take that out and we go to the next step. So I finished one side of it. And let me explain all this because it's easier to explain once it's done. I think there's a very good video by Northwest Track Addicts on, I will reference it in the description, but that video is pretty awesome and I think you guys should watch that before you do anything on this bike. But basically it is held by 1, 2, no, this is not a screw. This is not holding anything. This is a rod that is going on the other side. That's to support the other side. But this is, you gotta take a nut out of there. They're all, think 8 mm nuts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All these nuts are provided. They are different lengths, okay, and the longest one goes here, I think, if I'm remembering it correctly. There are 2 medium-sized ones. I mean, not medium, but you will see. Make sure you read the description of all the nuts and bolts on the thing and then go by that. And there are long nuts, all long nuts will go on this side. All the short nuts that are left, there are from the other side, okay? And there are 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 spacers, long ones. Starts with 41.5 mm to all the way to 35 mm. And there are 2 others. Actually, there's one little one here too, very small one. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spacers, and then there's, you'll see that there's a little bit of this right here. Just remember this section right here. You will be able to see that there is a spacer there that comes out on the other side. You can see it on the video. The Northwest people have done a great video on this. The couple of things that I want you to, the reason I wanted to make is, when they tell you to take a bolt out of this side, these and this, and this, and this, and this, there are this, it's sticking out like this. It's sticking out like this. And you would think, how the hell am I going to take this out? Basically, this is right here. It's just a 8 mm bolt. Same way you take out any other bolt. Just take a deep bolt, deep socket or something like that, and just screw it. That's it, unscrew it. It sounds confusing, but it's not. You'll see it when you see it sticking out and the instruction says to take it out or the video says to take it out. All you have to do is just unscrew this and it comes out. It was confusing at one time, but it's not. What else? Yeah, for this, everything, and then there is, it's not that much, but they tell you to, when you take this out, there are 2 holes that they are connected to here in the back. They are good enough for the sockets, the screws that are in there, but to put these new screws in, you need to go a little wider, not even that much, just a little bit wider. So take any metal drill or anything like that and just try to enlarge the screw, enlarge the hole on this part right here. It comes out, it will come out, you'll see it in the video instructions. Enlarge it a little bit at a time and see if, basically this is the width of the screw that needs to go in into it, and that's all it is. So once you have that drill open, the hole opened up a little bit, then it's pretty much simple after that. And remember one thing, this is a 19 mm bolt in there, and you would need a deep socket to go in there. Otherwise, I have a 19 mm here. This is 19, but this doesn't go in here. So make sure you put the one that's a little bit deep socketed, so you can. I have this went in fine, thank God. Well, I would have been in trouble. I could have gone, then I had to go somewhere to get it. What else? It's lengthy, it's complicated, but it is doable. And once, like now that I've done it, I know it's pretty simple, because once you know where the what nut goes, the biggest problem you're gonna face is when you open all these damn things up. Remember, all the long nuts except this one maybe, they all go on this side. And this is the most complicated side, although the trick on the other side is also a little complicated, where you have to unscrew the shock, and I don't know how I'm going to do that. This is my first time too. So, but for this, you don't need any support, you don't need anything. You just keep opening the nuts they're telling you to open, and keep opening, and you will see. The biggest problem you're going to face is actually to take this out. It goes right here somewhere. It has a lot of unscrews, and that's why Northwest guys have done a great video on this. You should go watch it. But this comes out. It has to squeeze out, and then all the nuts and bolts and all that other stuff. See, this one is loose. I need to tighten this. So that's that. This side is done. Now I'm moving on to the other side. This is not an instructional video, but this is just to give an idea of what you're looking at. It looks pretty solid, and these are how the screws go. Take a picture of it, because it will give you an idea of what needs to open up, where it needs to open up, and that's how it needs to go. The picture on the instruction, the big picture on the instruction, the first or second picture, where it explains where everything goes, that's the key once you understand the screw sizes and all that other stuff. Okay, I'll see if I can put some more information in there. Okay, so this side is done too. I'll refer to the same video. A couple of things that will help is this Amazon 115 bucks or something like that. A lift that can be moved with this little bit, like one notch at a time. It helps because you have to remove the shock, and to remove the shock you have to remove this first and this first. This first and this. So when you remove this, the bike goes a little bit up and down, although it is on lift and this, but bike moved a little bit up and down. So when you're putting it back, you first put this one back on, and then when you try to put this one back on, it's up and down. So you have to one notch up, one notch down, one notch up, one notch down, kind of, and then you got to find the right position where the screw goes in all the way. This helped a lot. The other jack that you have, the other lift hydraulic jacks, no good for this job. This is what you need. If you have it, great. If you don't, get it, because you will need it for other jobs too. Very good. And after that, it's just following the directions in the same video. I didn't feel I didn't find any impractical problems in this. I think it was pretty good. I think everything was on par with what the video was saying. NW Trek Addicts. Other than that, that's the only thing I would do. I would get this to do this job. Other than that, it's just 3 screws. It's much easier than the other side. But by the time you've done the other side, you're pretty much so honed to all this that you can get it done quickly. I mean, he told me to, the video says to move this and this. I did. I'm gonna put it back on. And I think that's it. It's all done, and then we just wrap it up, hopefully tomorrow. I think I'm done with this today. That's how it looks. I'm gonna put that RNG thing on there. It seals it up. But other than that, looks pretty good. It's time consuming, step by step. Just go slow. And even if you have a little bit of a knowledge, you need tools. I told you, you need those tools. Read the instructions, read the tools. You will need all of them. Okay? All right. All done.